Coming up on CBC Vancouver News.
All you Vancouver!
Is time running out to save the Vancouver Whitecaps?
It's wonderful free-flowing football from the Whitecaps.
As speculation the team could move to Las Vegas swirls. Plus, soccer officials from around the world descend on Vancouver for the FIFA Congress.
We can't be ready for what we have not experienced. It's going to be kind of learn as we go.
Vancouver's is world class.
The fanfare, tight security, and protest. And could BC nurses go on strike?
We can no longer hold up and carry the burdens of a system that is stretched to the limits.
Healthcare workers rally as contract negotiations break down.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Hello, I'm Michelle Ghoussoub. Thanks for joining us. It might be game over for the Vancouver Whitecaps. According to the New York Times, Major League Soccer is looking to relocate the team, with Las Vegas being the top candidate. CBC News has not independently verified this information. Our Yasmin Khania has the latest.
We know that The Athletic, a U.S. sports publication owned by the New York Times, is reporting that a businessman, a Las Vegas businessman called Grant Gustafson, who is the son of Kentucky billionaire Tamara Gustafson, has submitted a formal offer to buy the Whitecaps and relocate them to Las Vegas. We have contacted Gustafson as well as Major League Soccer and the Whitecaps to confirm this, but we haven't heard back yet. In a statement sent to The Athletic, his investor group is quoted as saying that it will privately finance this endeavor and that this is not connected to any of the recently announced arena ideas in Las Vegas. The group told The Athletic that it wouldn't be sharing any more details about this proposal out of respect for the league's deliberations and community stakeholders. The Whitecaps have been up for sale since 2024. They're reporting a multi-million-dollar revenue shortfall, and their lease at BC Place expires at the end of this season, Michelle.
And Yasmin, how is the province responding to this?
Well, the provincial government owns BC Place, and they're saying that they're willing to negotiate a long-term stadium deal, but they claim that MLS owners want to move the team because they stand to make a huge profit. So right now, the Whitecaps are worth about $445 million US, according to Forbes, and MLS leadership could stand to make millions more because of a relocation fee. And so Ravi Kahlon, who is the BC minister in charge of the Crown Corporation that owns BC Place, says that the province is still willing to sit at the negotiating table and find solutions. Here's more from him.
I think what we need to do is be at the table to find solutions. I think that's what Whitecaps want. If the MLS is genuine in wanting to support communities to develop the game, genuine about the fans who have been propping up the MLS for a long time, they'll find a solution.
The BC government says that it will be meeting with MLS in the coming days.
Our Yasmin Khania, thank you. And staying with soccer, FIFA has officially arrived in Vancouver. The International Soccer Organization held its annual Congress at the Convention Centre. The event came with tight security and a series of protests outside. As John Hernandez reports, it could be a sign of what's to come when the World Cup arrives in town.
So today, Vancouver is definitely the capital of the world.
It's the last stop on the road to the World Cup.
This summer, we will welcome the world here.
The FIFA Congress, a gathering of hundreds of international soccer delegates, landed in Vancouver. The first time in 50 years the annual event was hosted in Canada. It resembles a UN General Assembly and is largely procedural, but it also serves as a bit of a test run for the host city.
Well, we can't be ready for what we have not experienced. It's going to be kind of learn as we go.
Former Team Canada player Dwayne De Rosario expects at least some hiccups. Well over 300,000 fans are expected to attend Vancouver's 7 matches, and even more people will gather in the streets and in fan zones.
And I know we'll make a great event, and we'll represent Canada proud.
The province and the city of Vancouver are already on the hook for upwards of $500 million to host the event. Security costs yet to be publicly disclosed. This week, Ottawa pledged an additional $100 million.
For security, that includes funding for local police of jurisdiction, the RCMP, CBSA, and all of the security apparatus.
Games that will draw massive crowds and likely protests. There were 3 demonstrations outside the Congress, including crowds opposed to Iran's participation in the Games.
So today we are here to announce that we do not accept the IRGC's football team that is coming here to play in FIFA.
Iran's delegates weren't allowed to enter Canada, the only country absent from Thursday's Congress.
Islamic Republic of Iran, absent.
Excitement, politics, and controversy are common themes when it comes to this global soccer tournament. The first game in Vancouver is on June 13th. John Hernandez, CBC News, Vancouver.
And an update on our top story now. CBC News can now confirm that Grant Gustafson's investor group out of Las Vegas has submitted a bid for consideration to the MLS League office. The NDP government is now admitting that the construction contracts for the Burnaby Hospital expansion and 4 new long-term care homes have been cancelled. As Katie DeRosa reports, the official opposition says the province misled the public when it claimed those projects were being delayed.
The NDP government called it repacing, a new word sprinkled throughout this budget document to describe the delayed timeline for the Burnaby Hospital expansion and 7 other long-term care homes. Now, the government confirms that 5 of those construction contracts, including the $1.8 billion Burnaby Hospital expansion, have been outright cancelled.
Cancelled, not repaced, cancelled.
BC's infrastructure minister insists the projects are not dead, but some of the construction contracts are.
Because the projects are now operating on a different timeline, those contracts are affected, and in many cases, they've had to be cancelled.
The head of the Burnaby Hospital Foundation says the pause feels like a betrayal.
It does feel, like we were misled.
James says the community raised over $55 million for the redevelopment. The cancelled long-term care contracts are for projects in Delta, Abbotsford, Kelowna, and Chilliwack. The BC Conservative MLA for Delta says taxpayers are already on the hook for the millions that have been spent getting the sites shovel-ready, including the long-term care facility in his community.
The company that's actually got the contract that's working on it, that's already spent $15 million preparing the site for our new extended care ward, have been told, pack up your tools, your excavators, and you're done.
Delta's mayor says it's now clear what repacing actually means.
It's over. They've stopped it. Not just paused it, they've stopped it.
With a record $13 billion deficit, Bowen Ma says the government had to reconsider projects with ballooning price tags that would cost taxpayers about $1.8 million per bed. Katie DeRosa, CBC News, Victoria.
Nurses in this province could go on strike as early as mid-May. Contract negotiations with the Health Employers Union reached an impasse last week. Now nurses are set to take a strike vote. As Mira Baines reports, the BC Nurses Union rallied in Vancouver, calling for safer working conditions and better benefits.
Hundreds of nurses and healthcare workers from across the province are rallying in downtown Vancouver. This comes as talks over a new contract with the Health Employers Association of BC broke down on April 20th. The union says it plans to hold a strike vote scheduled for May 8th to 11th. If yes, the vote would give the union the legal authority to start job action around BC.
We haven't taken a strike vote, let alone any form of job action, in over 25 years.
More than 50,000 BCNU members are expected to vote online in May. Nursing is an essential service. There are levels of service that must be maintained in the healthcare system. The union's president says nurses are grappling with serious issues.
There are not enough nurses in this province. Nurses continue to become injured, they continue to be assaulted, and now we're in a situation at the bargaining table where we're trying to negotiate benefits, and we haven't been able to have that opportunity.
The province had this response.
It is always my expectation that the parties will stay at the table and do that hard work.
The BC Conservatives say it's not the time to cut benefits for nurses as they face violence in the workplace.
You're looking at nurses that are getting spit on, that are getting punched, attacked. There's open drug use in the hospitals. You know, nursing today is much different than it was even 10 years ago. So we need to make sure our nurses are valued.
The NDP government could have a tough time saying no to the union.
We will find a path forward with the nurses. I am convinced of that. That deal will be reached at the bargaining table.
Job action could begin mid-month with things like refusing overtime and non-nursing duties, and could escalate to picket lines outside some facilities as others continue to remain open. Mira Baines, CBC News, Vancouver.
Some campers in BC are facing frustrations. A number of Fraser Valley campgrounds in the Harrison area are currently shut down, leaving hundreds of camping spots unavailable. As CBC's Beneat Braich reports, the closures stem from dangerous trees and contract waits.
Signs marking campground closure after closure and empty sites.
I was stunned because I was thinking, like, this is like camping season, right? Bathing suits for sitting in the river.
Cindy Grantham's family camps at least 8 times a year at the Chehalis River Campground.
The possibility that the grandkids lose out on summertime there is heartbreaking for them.
5 campgrounds in BC's West Harrison area are temporarily closed. Chehalis River, Grace Lake, 20 Mile Bay, Weaver Lake, and Wood Lake.
So the province says the closures are because of danger trees, which could be a serious public safety issue, and they have to be fully assessed before the campgrounds open. For example, this tag here says remove dead top.
The Chehalis First Nation manages the closed campgrounds, but says tree assessments and felling are a provincial responsibility.
We identified well before the camping season started that we needed that assessment on the danger trees, and we had no response. It's been a very frustrating process. We've managed these campsites for 15 years now, and it's been ongoing for the past 15 years, struggling to get RSTBC to the table. We truly believe that recreation is one of the best uses of water and land.
Chief Paul is calling for more clarity on tree danger data earlier. In a statement, the Environment Ministry says it recognizes the frustration and, while not all hazards can be predicted or addressed years in advance, we always work to improve our review process and strengthen planning and coordination processes moving forward.
701.
Keen campers also pushing for urgency. Cindy Grantham launched a petition calling on the province to open the campgrounds and better collaborate with Chehalis Band.
We want safety, but somebody's got to be responsible for it.
The ministry adds contracts are being finalized and work is anticipated to start next week. Meanwhile, on the east of Harrison, more closures. The campground operator there is waiting to hear back if they got the contract to manage the sites this season. That leaves dozens of more campsites unavailable for bookings. The ministry says that is also in the final stages of procurement and anticipated to wrap next week. Beneat Braich, CBC News, Chehalis River.
Darius Maravi joins us now with a first look at the weather, and it definitely feels like camping weather out there.
I would say so. We do have some more cloud building in for tomorrow, but temperatures still very warm, especially inland, upwards of 20 degrees. And as we head into the weekend, temperatures climb, and the little bit of cloud we do have clears out. So we'll see more cloud build in overnight tonight across much of southwest BC. As we get into tomorrow morning, mainly cloudy day for the South Island, Lower Mainland, all those areas. As we get later into the day and by sunset at least, we should see enough clearing that you'll be able to take in the view. And then as we get into Saturday and the rest of the weekend, really no cloud to speak of. Temperatures are going to continue climbing. We have a little bit of a dip tomorrow briefly, just because of the more cloud building in. And then, as you can see there, a lot more orange starting to build in, a lot warmer temperatures. And by early next week, well above normal. Talk more about that later in the show. But for now, enjoy the nice sunny time that we're going to have as we get into the weekend.
All right, thanks, Darius.
Thank you.
After the break, a BC filmmaker sheds light on the Sikh soldiers who fought for Canada in World War II. Stay with us. April is Sikh Heritage Month, and one BC filmmaker is highlighting a story previously untold. Saurabh Sandhu has more.
Stephen Purewal's documentary Promises tells the story of British Indian soldiers in the Second World War.
Soldiers who fight wars together are bonded in ways.
The story follows the valiant effort of Sikh troops who served in the British Army alongside Canadian soldiers in 1944. It's a story which he says honors those forgotten heroes who do not find a mention in Canadian history. He wants their story told in classrooms across Canada.
When you exclude a certain story from that, what you're doing is you're overpowering, you're marginalizing, you're sidelining, and essentially you're whitewashing. So that the Eurocentric story is the prominent one and is exclusively the one that people learn. And that is the source of racism, because it's disrespect.
On Tuesday, his documentary was showcased at the Strawberry Hill Theatres in Surrey, where Purewal spoke to a group of high school students. And as part of Sikh Heritage Month celebrations, the movie also had its inaugural screening earlier this month at the Canadian War Museum in Ottawa. Now, Indus Media Foundation, the not-for-profit behind the production, is advocating for the movie to be included in the Canadian school curriculum.
There's definitely a disconnect between our curriculum and the actual history. When we look at movies like this and we look at the actual history, there's definitely a disconnect there that we need to bridge.
A Eurocentric history is always front and center, which is great, but what about other stories? So I think kids also notice that if I am not reflected in my curriculum, the books that I'm reading, then may not be paying 100% attention. I might feel excluded from what we are learning.
Purewal hopes the film will contribute meaningfully to the cause of inclusive remembrance and help reinforce a shared national identity rooted in democratic values and freedom.
As a diaspora community and as Indo-Canadians, we have to consider whose responsibility is it to remember our forefathers. This is our country. They helped defend the freedoms and democracies of this country. This country should be telling our story.
A story he hopes will be told across the nation. Saurabh Sandhu, CBC News, Surrey.
Two local First Nations are strengthening soccer skills for players and coaches. Dozens of youth gathered for a tournament in celebration.
Nice. Coaches and youth from Tsleil-Waututh Nation and Squamish Nation are strengthening their skills on the field.
To get to be a part of this opportunity was something that I don't think I would have ever really looked for myself, and so the fact that the nation was able to put this on and it be an option for community members, I think is amazing.
Tsleil-Waututh teamed up with the Royal Netherlands Football Association to offer 6 coaches a spot in its World Coaches week-long program. The coaches flex their new skills in a tournament with dozens of youth from their communities.
I have fun playing it. I don't care if I lose or win.
What we've seen within the last number of years is this resurgence of our members being active in outside community clubs. And so we're seeing this big interest, and it just really meant that the time was now in order for us to really be committed in the power of sport.
Thomas hopes the partnership will lead to more opportunities for Tsleil-Waututh with other clubs and put their new turf, 40 years in the making, to good use. For this week, the coaching program is more than just soccer.
We are educating coaches in their own environment, in their own communities, so that they can serve the community and help the kids over there. Of course, we are teaching the participants how to become a better football coach. But next to that, we're also teaching them how you can integrate life skills in the football sessions.
I hope you had a lot of fun. If you did, can you raise your hand if you had fun?
So I think really invigorating the kids again to see how much fun it is to travel throughout the summer with your cousins and with your relatives.
That was Edziu Lovren reporting. And coming up, Darius has your full provincial forecast. With the FIFA World Cup crowds descending on Vancouver this summer, the city is expected to come to life with international visitors. But some say it's at the expense of those who live here full time, especially those living in lower income areas. Let's take a look now at what one Gastown hotel owner did to ease the impact on tenants during Expo 86.
Like most hotels in Vancouver's downtown east side, the Dominion is getting ready for Expo. Renovations are turning it from a Skid Road hotel into a budget inn. But unlike some hotels here, the Dominion isn't evicting its longtime residents. Some get to stay in rooms on the top floor. But Sikhs have opted for a life about as far from Skid Road as you can get.
Hey, Giuseppe, how you doing? Not bad.
The two hotel owners are letting 6 former residents live in their homes on Indian Arm, about a 30-minute boat ride from downtown Vancouver.
I'm gonna plant maybe some carrots.
Some of these men have spent more than 20 years in flophouse hotels. Now they spend their days cleaning up wood, working on the garden, or simply soaking up the view.
Now with Expo on, we've sort of made a deal with them, free room and board in trade for a little bit of labor at whatever their pleasure is.
Life here is a far cry from the downtown east side. No noise, no traffic, no beer parlors.
Do you miss it? Maybe in the mornings when I don't get a beer at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Good fresh air and eat a little bit and drink a little bit and that'll help.
Better than downtown.
Oh, bullshit, yes.
The hotel owners admit they'll make more money renting their hotel rooms to Expo tourists, but they say their old tenants win too.
We all win. Long-term residents in our hotel win, we win, everybody wins. Thank you very much, Expo.
So what could have been Expo evictions has for some turned into 6 months at summer camp. Brian Dubray, CBC News, Vancouver.
University of Victoria housing researcher Melora Kupke and Doctors of the World Street Outreach Manager Paul Alauzi join us now to talk about the housing impacts of the FIFA World Cup. First of all, Melora, I want to get your reaction to that story. What a time capsule.
Yeah, it was a pretty good, feel-good kind of piece about what essentially was a renoviction.
Yes, very much so. And Paul, you know, you've traveled to Olympics around the world, is my understanding. What have you observed about the housing impacts of communities that host these major events?
So I'm here as a witness of what happened in Paris 2024, and there was a huge social cleansing. Roughly 20,000 homeless people were displaced in a year and a half in order to make some space for the Olympics. So it really is written in mega events DNA. Homeless population, a more popular part of the population are going to be displaced.
And, you know, Melora, we've talked about gentrification in Vancouver has kind of been a buzzword for many years. What is Vancouver getting right on that front? What are we getting wrong?
During FIFA or in the lead up to FIFA?
I would say, yeah, in the lead up.
Well, FIFA, unlike Olympics, comes to a city with no proposal, no social proposals, and actually just proposes soccer matches. And so there were no promises of any kind of social housing or any kind of social programs or improvement whatsoever given to the city. So we wonder why a city would accept to spend so much money on a sporting event with no tangible and lasting benefits. And you know, while we're housing researchers, we have not reached an answer to that question. It just seems to us like a lot of money being spent to have a party and to bring people from around the world that can afford that party with money that probably needs to be spent on the ground for the citizens of our city.
And, you know, specifically in Vancouver, SROs, single room occupancy hotels have become, you know, a less than ideal solution for people who need some form of shelter. If those become gentrified, if people are pushed out of those, what options do people have?
Almost none. There have been promises, there are frequently and usually promises when SROs are emptied about finding people alternative housing. We are literally seeing right now that it is not always the case. In the research that we're doing on the ground and in our relationships with community members who are being displaced, do not have offers or have any kind of other solution.
You know, Paul, coming off of the Paris Olympics, as Vancouver prepares to host this major sporting event, what should the city keep in mind? What have you observed that Vancouver needs to prepare for as we prepare for this influx of people, and knowing that Vancouver has struggled with unhoused people?
Well, before the Olympics, I had the chance to exchange with fellow social worker and activists, because you had the Olympics in 2010 here, and at that moment, homeless people and drug users were harassed by police forces in order to vacate a lot of streets and places. Food banks were moved far away from their place of living. And now you obviously have the opioid crisis here, and I don't see any public health policies in order to warn people, because some people are going to come here, they're going to celebrate for their teams, they might end up using drugs, they might end up using drugs with fentanyl in it and die from overdose. So the city of Vancouver really needs to plan for that and to prepare the public. There's an opioid crisis, and it's dangerous for homeless people, but also for tourists visiting the city.
And so, talking about bringing a public health perspective along with housing solutions is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. We think that the housing solutions and the public health solutions are very closely linked, and that it's important to address those things all the time. But mega events and sporting events like FIFA can be an opportunity to focus on things in a different way, in a more pointed way, and to work together in new ways, and to find inspiration in a punctual moment that we can then carry forward. It can be an opportunity to find solutions too.
So finding a good in some of the challenges that we know we're going to be seeing in the city as well.
Yeah, like mega events can accelerate, like any kind of party can bring things up to the surface in perspective. And so it's an opportunity to maybe address and have momentum behind some of the solutions that we seek and some of the ways we address problems.
All right. Laura and Paul, we really appreciate your perspectives on the show today.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. The federal government is pouring money into improving the Canadian military, but right now funding isn't enough. More people are needed too. The CBC's Murray Brewster has details on who's needed and the plans to boost recruitment.
Canada's military faces a daunting mission to more than triple its size, and the country's top general, who is close to presenting her recommendations to the federal cabinet.
In the next month or so, we will be able to present various options, and the discussion is going very well.
Recruitment to the armed forces is the highest it's been since 3 decades plus.
A lot of interest from the highest political office.
We're going to continue to grow the military and grow the military reserves. I'm encouraged by what's happened over the course of the last year.
The Prime Minister's encouraged by a modest turnaround in military enrollment numbers reported last week, partly spurred by last year's substantive pay raise. There's also renewed urgency. New equipment programs appear to be coming together quickly.
And then we can show you around.
2 companies bidding on Canada's submarine contract have submitted their final proposals. The Air Force's first new F-35 comes off the assembly line later this year, in the face of a major pilot and technician shortage. The military has a long way to go to ensure it has enough personnel to staff and maintain those ships and planes. It is now about 8,500 short of its current modest target of 100,000 members. It wants to have almost 500,000 ready to fight in a crisis. And there are lessons being learned from allies already at war.
We had a specific Ukrainian situation where we did explore mobilization. So this is, of course, contributing to how we are going to build our own solution in Canada.
I hope that the plan that is coming from the Chief of Defence Staff will be taken seriously by this Liberal government, and that they'll actually put the resources behind it.
This week's fiscal update tried to make it more attractive to join the reserves by offering paid skills training, a $275 million program, a drop in the bucket with what a full mobilization plan would need. Murray Brewster, CBC News, Ottawa.
Elections Alberta has won a court order forcing an Alberta separatist group to pull down a database detailing the personal information of millions of Alberta voters. Now there's new indication Alberta RCMP is investigating, and many Albertans whose information was exposed are furious. Aaron Collins now with how this all went down.
1, 2, 3, 4.
A rare show of force by Elections Alberta, flanked by Edmonton police crashing this town hall held by the pro-separatist Centurion Project.
There is a concern that your organization is in possession of and using the list of electors.
Well, that organization alleged to have millions of Albertans' personal information from a provincial voters list, using that data to help organize its drive for independence.
Someone at Elections Alberta decided to make a big scene by having 10 cop cars drive through Edmonton and having people show up here.
In a statement, the Centurion Project says it was only using the list to find people its volunteers already knew, and that it will comply with the Elections Alberta investigation. Elections Alberta says it traced the list to one given to the separatist Republican Party of Alberta, which got the data legitimately because it ran a candidate in a provincial by-election last year. It's unclear how the Centurion Project got the list, but Elections Alberta says sharing it breaks the law. And having their information shared so publicly doesn't sit well with some Albertans.
I think it's bullshit.
Well, if it's not supposed to be, it shouldn't be.
At no point did I consent to that to be given away to any third party, so why was it?
All this as the push to get a referendum on Alberta's sovereignty heats up, and experts say the data could help bolster the separatist voter turnout.
Being able to have a list of all of the registered electors and reaching out to them, making sure they go to vote, is a huge advantage.
Alberta's independence movement could use the help. A recent poll suggests momentum for sovereignty has stalled. 27% of Albertans saying they would vote for independence now, compared to 28% last year.
Despite all the activity over the last year, raising signatures and holding rallies, it doesn't seem like too many people were persuaded to change sides.
Alberta separatists say they do have enough signatures to trigger a referendum, but the certification of that petition is being held up in court. If a vote on Alberta independence is to happen, it'll go down in October. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Calgary.
With the arrival of the 60-day mark of the Iran war, there are growing questions surrounding Donald Trump's next move. Could the U.S. president order a new round of bombing or try to extend the ceasefire? Tom Perry has details on that and more from Jerusalem.
We still haven't seen or heard Iran's supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, but we have now got another written statement from him. It is quite a defiant statement aimed at the United States. He says that Iran will defend its missile and nuclear capabilities. And then he goes on to write, by God's will, the bright future of the Persian Gulf region will be one without the United States. Outsiders who come from thousands of kilometers away with greedy intentions have no place here except for in the depths of its waters. And he goes on to say, the Islamic Republic will ensure the security of the Persian Gulf to eliminate the misuse of this waterway by hostile enemies. So that's the latest message coming out of Iran. There is, of course, still a ceasefire between Iran and Israel and the United States. There's a ceasefire as well in place in Lebanon, the other front in this war. But we heard from the head of the IDF, the Israel's military, who was in southern Lebanon this week meeting with troops. And his message was that there really isn't a ceasefire in place, that despite this truce being in effect, the Hezbollah and IDF are still trading fire on a regular basis. The IDF today announced that it was telling people in 8 towns outside its buffer zone in southern Lebanon to evacuate, so presumably to expand operations against Hezbollah. The IDF says that 12 of its troops were injured in a Hezbollah drone strike. A cargo vehicle got hit by a drone, and Lebanon's health ministry says that IDF strikes killed 9 people, including 2 children. And meanwhile, in the north of Israel, sirens have been heard in the past day over suspected drones coming over from Hezbollah. So despite there being a ceasefire in place in Lebanon, in southern Lebanon, the fighting between the IDF and Hezbollah, it has not stopped. Tom Perry, CBC News, Jerusalem.
During a hearing on Capitol Hill, U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth was questioned on everything from the war's legitimacy to whether Congress could soon rein the administration in. Katie Nicholson reports from Washington.
On the heels of being grilled by Democrats on the House Armed Services Committee yesterday, Secretary Pete Hegseth was in the hot seat again, this time under intense questioning by senators. The hearing had been called to address the Pentagon's $1.45 trillion budget increase ask for next year. But there were many questions about the war in Iran, including its unpopularity at home.
I disagree with your assessment that we are under threat.
Do you not believe them when they say death to America?
Listen, our adversaries use rhetoric all the time. What I'm concerned about is we are not safer, and I would just like to know why you have not sought the support of the American people, and 3 out of 5 Americans are against this war today.
I believe we do have the support of the American people.
And there were questions about what this war is costing Americans, in addition to the price of gas, which hit a 4-year high today. The Pentagon says it is costing taxpayers $25 billion, but Senator Richard Blumenthal questioned that given the damaged military infrastructure in the region and the roughly 400 casualties reported so far.
And I think $25 billion is probably less than half, maybe less than a quarter of the total cost of war.
And then there were questions about the War Powers Resolution. The 1973 measure gives the White House 60 days after initially notifying Congress of a military campaign to either end it or get congressional approval to continue. Hegseth suggested because of the ceasefire, the clock has been paused.
We are in a ceasefire right now, which our understanding means the 60-day clock pauses or stops in a ceasefire. You're not in. Yeah. It's our understanding, just so you know.
Okay, well, I do not believe the statute would support that. I think the 60 days runs maybe tomorrow.
President Trump was to be briefed today on a new wave of military options in Iran, including strikes, reported first by Axios. But speaking with reporters this afternoon, the president appeared to indicate he didn't think it would be necessary to break the ceasefire. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Washington.
Iran's ongoing blockade of fuel shipments is causing shortages worldwide. How it might impact Canadian travelers up next. Iran's ongoing blockade of global oil shipments is fueling a jet fuel shortage in Europe and Asia. The CBC's Ashley Fraser breaks down the different ways this could hit Canadian travelers.
So you may have heard that Europe has
6 weeks or so jet fuel left.
Fuel prices are nearly double what they were before the war in the Middle East began. But what does that mean if you're planning on traveling this summer?
Two things are going to happen. One, capacity will be reduced by the carriers, so you'll have less choice. And two, prices are going to go up.
Flight prices were already climbing due to inflation. But now many airlines are adding fuel surcharges or upping costs of base fares even more.
We've already seen jet fuel surcharges anywhere between $25 to $60 that could potentially increase.
Plus, there's a lack of fuel supply due to the blockage in the Strait of Hormuz. So could your flight get cancelled because there's actually no more fuel? Well, in Canada, 85% of aviation fuel is produced by Canadian refineries, so we don't have the same fuel supply issue as carriers in Europe or Asia. But Canadian airlines are still reducing flights if the route is not profitable enough.
More and more flights are going to be looked at under the lens and potentially canceled as a result of these high costs of fuel remaining in the marketplace.
You're going to have the same amount of Canadians all competing for fewer seats available on planes, which dynamically prices will increase.
And if you are traveling within Europe, certain countries are already rationing fuel, but long-haul flights to Europe are less likely to be affected.
They'll put together a plan that says the short-haul flights will be first to go, be the ones that will be canceled. So if you're country hopping in Europe, the odds are you better be looking at a backup on a train service.
And if you've already booked your flight, could the price still go up in some way? Not on the ticket itself, but this aviation expert says if you plan on adding on a checked bag or paying for seat selection,
pay for it up front so that you don't get any surprises when you get to the airport and all of a sudden the baggage fee went from $50 to $75.
So should you book a flight right now instead of waiting it out? In short, yes.
The odds of these fares coming back down as a result of a potential drop in prices of fuel, the odds are pretty slim.
Regardless if the Strait of Hormuz opens this week or not, airfare prices will rise. And that is also because inflation is increasing.
And Darius Maravi joins us now with a look at the provincial forecast. Darius, take it away.
Well, we got more sunshine on the way through the weekend and into early next week. We do have a bit of a cloudier stretch tomorrow, but I'd be surprised if we didn't see some clearing even here on the coast by the evening. So ridge of high pressure continues to dominate the region, deflecting any other weather systems up or beyond the province. So don't expect to see any real precipitation anytime soon, other than maybe a few convective showers popping up. If we look at our provincial precipitation forecast, a little bit overnight, maybe into the morning in the Peace region. A few things may be popping up in the Chilcotin and parts of the southern interior tomorrow or maybe on Saturday. It's a possibility. Right now, it looks like that's going to mostly pop up south of the border, but could shift a little bit upwards. But overall here, things look they're going to be very dry. I wouldn't expect most people to see any precipitation at all. If you do, super light, super brief, really not going to make much of an impact, unlike the temperatures, which are going to continue to be the big story for a while yet. Well above normal for parts of the southern interior by the end of the weekend and into early next week. 10 to 12 degrees above normal, maybe 8 to 10 degrees above normal here on the coast. With a chance of getting up beyond that as well. I think some parts of the province, hard to say where exactly, but somewhere in the south, maybe central parts of the region, possibility of seeing temperatures 15 degrees above normal. At this point, daily high records don't seem super likely to be broken, but it is a possibility and something that I will be watching through the weekend and early next week. But again, 28 degrees for those inland areas on the coast, down in the Fraser Valley, inland sections of Metro Vancouver, Port Alberni, not visible on the map here, but probably looking at 27, 28 degrees. And I'd be surprised if Kamloops didn't hit 30, as well as some other parts of the southern interior, either Sunday or Monday. Fire danger is going to keep climbing as a result. Remember, low relative humidity, very little precipitation, if any at all, and temperatures are going to be climbing. So expect to see more orange and red on this map as we get into next week. And in the meantime, again, a little bit of cloud builds in for tomorrow. Mainly cloudy day for much of the coast, but probably clearing up in the evening for parts of the southern interior. Cloud probably builds through the day and then disappears again by Saturday morning. And here's our 5-day forecast with temperatures 5 degrees above, 5 degrees higher for inland areas than they are by the water, and lots of sunshine on the way. Michelle?
Great. Thanks, Darius.
Thank you.
Potholes in big cities are no anomaly, but for one man, Montreal's uneven streets have gone too far. He decided to take matters into his own hands. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and this is your CBC Inbox.
CBC returns as the exclusive media partner of the Doxa Documentary Film Festival, April 30th to May 10th. Doxa presents an exceptional selection of films and events that cultivate curiosity and critical thought. Festival tickets at doxafestival.ca. And on May 12th, join the CBC's Beneath Brach at Surrey's Top 25 Under 25, an awards reception honoring the remarkable achievements of Surrey's top young leaders.
It may not be his job, but a Montreal man has made it his business to fill the city's potholes. Frustrated by the large number of potholes dotting the city, he decided to take on filling them himself. The CBC's Natalia Weichel caught up with him.
Saad Tekyaut has had enough of Montreal's potholes.
There was always a problem, but this year is worse.
But Tekyaut isn't a city worker, and filling potholes isn't his job. Yet, downtown on the corner of Robert Bourassa Boulevard and Cathcart Street, he simply decided to take the matter into his own hands.
All my family members start to have a flat tire, and friends and everything, so I was like, okay, we can do something about it.
In the last month, he says he's filled more than 20 potholes. Each one takes around 10 minutes.
Montreal is my city, and I love Montreal, I love Canada, and I always want to see Montreal shiny and beautiful. Salut, mon nom est Marquise. Aujourd'hui, on va réparer ce trou-là.
Videos of Tekyaut's vigilante pothole filling have gone viral online. Thousands have commented, with many asking him for help in filling holes near their homes. The mayor of Montreal, Soraya Martinez-Ferrada, took notice and responded to one of the posts, essentially saying, "Thanks for the help. We understand the frustration with potholes, but this isn't your job."
I'm not worried because if the people of Montreal like me, if the people of Montreal support me, I'm doing this.
There's no bylaw or there's no law that says you can't fix a pothole.
This lawyer says while this may look like a good deed, it could get him in trouble.
Questions of security and the standard of work that he's doing could be raised.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your hard work.
But the pothole repairs are a welcome sight to those passing by.
Every sidewalk, every street is very dangerous for me as a person of mobility problems.
Tekyaut says despite any bumps or legal jeopardy, if there is a hole in the road that isn't getting filled, he's the man to call.
Right.
Natalia Weichel, CBC News, Montreal.
And thank you for being with us tonight on CBC Vancouver News at 6. You can watch this newscast on CBC Gem, our free app, as well as on YouTube and our website, cbc.ca/BC. I will have your next local news at 11 o'clock, right after the National. Good night.